Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Ya Ali Madad to all friends, and thank you for joining us. Today, inshallah, we will start with the first of the Houston Farman, or the very first Farman of the Imam Zaman in America. Let's start with the holy name of the Imam Zaman. Ya Mulai Mirban, Ya Mulai Mirban, Ya Mulai Mirban, Madad Farma. Ya Mulai Mirban, Madad Farma, Madad Farma. Ya Mulai Mirban, Madad Farma, Madad Farma. Ya Shah Rahim al-Akram, Ya Shah Rahim al-Akram, Ya Shah Rahim al-Akram, Shah Rahim al-Akram, 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 Shah Rahim al-Akram, 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 Shah Rahim al-Akram. Nur Mawlana Shah Rahim al-Husayni, Hazar Imam. Ya Mulai Marwan, Tawfiq, Taid, Himmat wa Yari Mola. Tawfiq, Taid, Himmat wa Yari Mola. Ya Mulai Marwan, मदद फरमाइए, मदद फरमाइए. तमाम साथियों को एक बार फिर या अली मदद. First of all, we are truly shukr guzar to the Imam Zaman for not only blessing us, the Jamaat, with the Didar, but quickly providing us with the return Farmans, so we may listen to it, read them, reflect on them, and inshallah to follow on the commands, the wish and the will of the Imam Zaman. Farmans are not there to be collected and kept on a shelf. Farmans are not there to listen to it in a small, short form and then not remember. Farmans are there for us to follow. And how do we follow the Farman? If we do not have a copy of the direction, instructions, commands, the hidayat, the guidance in our hand. There is a certain ways the Mu'mineen of the past and even present, they would take the Farmans and they will highlight and underline certain guidance, certain concepts, certain words. And they would make that Farman their own personal guideline from their Imam of the time, and they will follow it as per Imam's wish. Otherwise, all these Farmans would not do anything if our intention is not to understand, reflect on, or follow. So let's start with the Imam's name and Holy Salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Muhammad. Imam Zaman, Shah Rahim al-Husayni, Hazar Imam. Houston, Texas, 7th November 2025. And this was the first Farman in the morning, meaning on that day there were 2 Farmans. My dearest spiritual children, to all my spiritual children, I give my most affectionate, loving blessings. I give blessings for peace, for your good health, for harmony in your families, for success in your spiritual and material lives, for unity and for mushkil asan. Ameen, Ameen Ya Rabbal Alameen. Khana Vadan, Khana Vadan, Khana Vadan. As usual, Imam started with lot of love and happiness for the Jamaat, with lot of prayers and barakat for the mushkil asan of the Jamaat, with the traditional Khana Vadan for our physical mushkil asan, for our spiritual mushkil asan, for our intellectual mushkil asan, and the enlightenment and all of the goodness on all of our being and all of our levels. For those who have been unable to attend today, you are especially with me in my heart and in my prayers. I pray for your spiritual enlightenment, for your worldly success, for balance in your lives, for your safety and security, for unity, for peace, and for mushkil asan. Khana Vadan, Khana Vadan, Khana Vadan. As we understand, in the country such as USA and the state and the region which have many Jamaat Khanas, near and far, and lot of people, lot of the Jamaat had to travel from far, far away. And due to whatever reason, even though their intention was to make it to the Didar, they were not able to make it on time for the Didar. But Imam Zaman remembered them and sent his best loving blessing toward them for the benefit of their spiritual enlightenment and for the success both in the spiritual and physical world, and for the unity and safety and security of the Jamaat and Mushkil Asan. Again with the Khana Vadan, Khana Vadan, Khana Vadan. I also convey a special blessing for the eternal rest and peace of the souls of all the Rohani members of my Jamaat. Ameen, Khana Vadan, Khana Vadan, Khana Vadan. Imam remembering our departed families, friends and Jamaat, and the soul with his blessings and prayers for their eternal peace. I have accepted the bayah pledged by the Mukhi of Houston Principal Jamaat Khana on your behalf. Bayah reaffirms the permanent spiritual bond between the Imam of the time and his Jamaat. This is a deeply significant bond, the bond between the Imam and his spiritual children is made in freedom and love. Your Imam cares for your safety and security, your material and spiritual elevation, and for your happiness and well-being. I will always be connected to you through this Bhaiya. I am always with you, and you are always in my heart. Kanavadan, Kanavadan, Kanavadan. Here, I would like to highlight this part.
Looks like we've lost Aziz, sir. Let's see, give him a couple of moments to get back online. Aziz, sir, are you able to start again? Your video is not on, though.
Can you see me and hear me?
I can hear you, and we have your screen, but okay, now your video is back on. Okay, thank you. You can go ahead. Sorry.
Here, I like to highlight this one line and may reflect on this line of Farman. All these years, we have never seen such a line by the Imam Zaman to the Murid. Even though this is our tradition, from the very beginning, whenever Imam Zaman is present in the front of the Murid, a great tradition is to offer and reaffirm the Baya either individually or collectively by a representative of the Jamaat to the Imam Zaman. This can be when we are granted audience, meaning visiting the Imam in his place, or when Imam comes in Jamaat Khana or Didar Hall and grants us a Didar and audience. It has been a tradition from the very beginning to offer and reaffirm our Bayam. So Imam says this is a deeply significant part. What makes it a significant part? Let me explain that. When a non-Muslim wants to become Muslim, he offers his first intent to be a Muslim by saying Kalima La ilaha illa. La ilaha illa Muhammadur Rasulullah. That I believe and affirm Allah is one and Rasul is his prophet, messenger toward us. And he becomes a Muslim. Now, what's the difference between that Muslim and all other practicing, following Muslim? This gentleman only have intended to be a Muslim. He has not practiced yet. And then he goes further and he starts to practice, offers his prayers, his zakat, and other obligation toward the religion. And each time he enters into the prayer hall with his niyat, knowingly or unknowingly, he reaffirms his bayah, his kalima shahadat, to be a Muslim. Come forward when a Muslim, after believing Allah and His oneness, Rasul and his true message, and the Ulil Amra Minkum, the Imam Zaman after. Then he says, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, Aliyun, Amirul Mu'minin, Aliyullah. And with that, he intends to follow and submit himself by affirming Allah is one, Rasul is his messenger, and Aliyul Amirul Mu'minin is the true Imam, the Wali and the Wasi of Allah and His Rasul. And as we enter into the Jamaat Khanas every single day, and sometime twice a day, we reaffirm our bayah by saying, Hai Zinda. And because bayat is not accepted or counted until a witness comes forward and says, Kayam Paya. Here, in the presence of the Imam, when we repeat our bayah and we reaffirm our promise to the Imam Zaman, in the front of all the Jamaat as a witness, and we say, Ameen. Each time Mukhi Sahib repeats a promise, a bayah, a reformation of the bayah, what do we say as a witness? And we reaffirm and say, Ameen. And Imam, after that, Imam accepts your bayah. But then Imam is telling you, by teaching, guiding, and also by a warning. So what is the teaching and guiding part first? That is, that without the bayah and without the reaffirmation, there is no bond, there is no promise, and there is no obligation in between the Imam Zaman and the Murid. There is no connection or bond between the Murshid and the Murid. And this bond is a significant bond. Don't take it lightly. If you promise something, and what is the promise to the Imam Zaman? I offer you myself, tan, man, and dan. That is our bayah to the Imam. That I completely submit myself to you. And Imam said that bond between the Imam and his spiritual children is made in freedom and love. You cannot force this. You cannot force this on anyone. So this is the warning to the Jamaat sitting in the front of the Imam at that time. If you do not wish to today, with your own free will, with your freedom of your heart and mind, then this bayah cannot be forced on you. But if you wish, with your happiness, with your heart and acceptance of your mind, with the full free will and freedom, and on top of that, for the love of your spiritual father, the Imam al-Zaman, then and then only, this becomes a deeply significant bond. Otherwise, is nothing but a word and intention, and there is no promise. Because your promise, your offering of the bayah comes first. I hope you are listening and reflecting. Your offering and your bayah comes first. And if you are offering with the freedom and for the love of the Murshid Imam al-Zaman, then and then only Imam al-Zaman accepts your bayah. And what does Imam do in return? So you promise what? Ya Mullah, I submit myself to your will with my tan, dan, and man. And Imam says, in that case, I accept your bayah and I promise to care for you, care for your safety and security. See, now there is a link. There is a two-way bond. Bond cannot be one way. It's a two-way bond. And so Imam in return promises something back to you, that your Imam cares for your safety and security, your material and spiritual elevation, and for your happiness and your well-being. Here I also like to talk about just for a second, for your happiness and your well-being. Because what makes Imam happy when his spiritual children are happy? Physically happy, spiritually happy, and intellectually happy. That makes his Imam happy. Because if we are not happy, our Imam is not happy. So for your happiness and well-being is important to the Imam al-Zaman. I will always be connected to you through this bayah. What do you think this is? Is this a promise? Yes. And this is also a warning. We must learn how to read in between the lines. So first, Imam is promising you, through this bayah, I'm always connected to you. Warning, if you break your bayah, then the link is broken. And I will no longer be connected to you as a spiritual, caring, and loving father. Of course, as a human, as the Imam al-Nas, I will continue to guide As I would continue to guide the Ummah and the humanity, if you are part of the Ummah and the humanity, I will continue to guide you, but as Imamul Nas. But if you remain firm to your bayah under my protection, then I will guide you as your Imam who cares for you and who loves you and who will continue to guide you. And I always be with you, and you are always in my heart. Part. How can Imam as a human be continue with us? And how can we in our physical always be with Imam? Have you ever wondered? Because Imam is our spiritual father. Our connection is the connection of the soul. As he is the universal soul, we are connected to his soul. We are a juz, an individual, and he is the kul, the totality. And we are connected to him spiritually. Imam goes further. Imam goes further and says, my dear Jamaat, the first official visit as your Imam to my Jamaat in the United States is an occasion of deep happiness for me. I'm particularly happy to be here in Texas, which has been such a warm and welcoming home to my Jamaat for many decades. Indeed, I have expressed that warm, I have experienced that warm Texan welcome myself, and I understand why you are happy to have made your home here. I am deeply moved and grateful for the way in which I have been received by the Mayor Whitmer and his administration. The courtesies and respect which has been extended to me are a recognition of the reputation and standing of you, of the Jamaat and its contribution to this city. While the key of the city of the Houston and Sugarland have been presented to me, I proudly accept them on behalf of my Jamaat. Imam gracefully giving the credit of all this to the Jamaat, whereas the Imam is the man himself, meaning in his previous Jamaat, had worked hard since 1986 to bring the Jamaat in the standing where we stand in the USA and especially in the Texas, and where the Jamaat Khanas are built is due to the Imam of the time. We were just the insignificant part of that effort by the Imam of the time. But Imam gracefully sharing that with us, Garib and Najis. Yesterday morning, I officially inaugurated the Smiley Center Houston. I was happy to be joined by my uncle and my brothers at the opening ceremony. The affection and the admiration for our community expressed by the mayor and all guests are source of deep happiness for me. When a Smiley Center is built, it indicates the confidence of the Imam and of the Jamaat in that particular place, in that country, and it is a reflection of our Jamaat's stability, permanence, and optimism. Again, Imam is showing his confidence in the Houston Jamaat, especially when Imam says we build a smiley center, a permanent center in a place that shows your permanence and optimism for their place. Inshallah, we will be more stronger with Imam in our back, Imam hands on our shoulder, Imam's guidance with us, and all the happiness that Imam have shown to the Jamaat will reflect as the barakat, blessings for the Jamaat and for the future establishment of the Jamaat in the USA, particularly in Texas and particularly in Houston, inshallah. Our first Smiley Center was established in London 40 years ago and was designated as a Silver Jubilee project by my father. The Jamaat is well aware of my father's deep interest in architecture and design. He recognized that the importance of the architecture lies in the ability to transform the quality of human life and inspire cultural understanding. He often said that we shape our built environment and then the buildings shape us. During his imamat, my father commissioned many architecturally distinctive projects around the world. The Smiley Center, Houston, was last of this many important buildings, and he was particularly involved in its design. He designated it a Diamond Jubilee project, and I am certain that he would have been delighted with the outcomes. So as we can see that Imam during his Silver Jubilee, in between his Silver Jubilee and Diamond Jubilee, had built many Ismaili centers, 7 to be exact, and many other projects that I don't believe we even know the count of it. And Imam's deep admiration for the great architectural design and the keen interest in detail down to the last dot that he would show, and the time, efforts, resources he would present to these projects are amazing. And we appreciate all that Imam have done for the Jamaat in this sense. Ismaili Center represents who we are and what we stand for. This is the part I will cover, which was a little bit on the previous paragraph as well, and we will talk about this in a minute. And Ismaili Center reflects our vision for a peaceful, pluralistic, respectful world. It is a place from where we open our arms and embrace our neighbors, and where we strengthen our bonds with each other. At its core, it is the place of congregation and the worship and the contemplation of Allah. Today, I designate the Smiley Center, Houston, as the Zarkhana of the United States, Kanavatam. So this is the last paragraph we will read today, and then inshallah we will continue on the following page tomorrow. What is the beauty? What does the Smiley Center represent in an area, in a city, or in a state or a country? We have hundreds of Jamaat Khana in the United States. We have many permanent, self, multi-purpose built, beautifully built Jamaat Khanas. What is about this Smiley Center? Smiley Center put forward to the community in which it is built that we are your neighbor. We may look different, we may speak different languages, we may wear different clothes, but we are part of this community, just like you are part of this community. As you have your libraries, centers, churches, other places, this is the place where you are welcome, and we welcome you to come take a peek and see who we are. You have known us as a neighbor, and hopefully, inshallah, as a good, caring, loving neighbor. Now you can see what we have to offer you as a community, and you can come and see in an intimate detail who we are. Where do we get together? What do we represent? What do we offer to this community? What are our values, which we could not do in our Jamaat Khanas? We could do all of that in Ismaili centers, because Ismaili centers are open to all. Matter of fact, you are encouraged to take your Ismaili, non-Ismaili, Muslim, non-Muslim, Christian or not Christian, Hindus, whomever you wish, to show who you are. Take them, show them, and be proud of you, who you are, because the Ismaili Center represent who we are and what we stand for. Now you have not just a word, not just your action, but a place that you can show. A place that you can show. So this is our culture. This is where we get together, and this is what we talk about, and this is our value, and this is how we are part of this community. That's what Ismaili Center do. And Ismaili Center reflects our vision for a peaceful, here I'm going to stop right here, peaceful, pluralistic, and respectful world. You know, when Shah Karim envisioned Ismaili Center and bought this land back in 86, 87. That's long time ago. You know what was the first thing he did after he bought that land? There was a small park across the street. At that time, there was a small street called Allen Parkway, but very small 4-line street, not a parkway as it is today. Today is a 6-line parkway. He sent the pluralistic, the tolerance, 7 statues from Paris, I believe. And each statue represent different languages and different culture. A pluralistic representation. He began to nurture that culture, that community, telling the people that we are who we are and we are ready to be integrated into your culture. And we love peaceful, pluralistic, but respectful world. We will respect you and mutually you will respect us. So he sent 7. If you are not from Houston, I would encourage you, whenever you visit Ismaili Center, walk across the street.
Sir, I see you're back, but I don't think you have access to your micro video. Can you hear us?
From when you are in Houston, walk across the street to the tolerance, so you can see where all this started from. What was the vision of the Imam of the time? Because you and I, we think in the time in a very short, maybe a month, a year, at the best 2-3 years ahead of time. Imam was looking at this Ismaili Center back in 1986, 87. And he started his vision and his work in Houston, in that area, by sending the 7 statue of tolerance. Go visit the Tolerance Park, across the street from the Ismaili Center. Don't stop there. Then go to the left on other side of the street, a kitty corner from the Ismaili Center, and find a World Oneness fountain. And see how not only the current living neighborhood there, because this is the Allen Parkway, connection between the city and downtown. Offices, residents, people driving by, they all stop at that fountain. They sit there, they get together, they play music, they eat ice cream, they bring their tacos and burgers, and they sit there and they all come together at that park. Can you imagine? All of this was envisioned way before our Ismaili Center ever started the construction. All of this was already in place. And then the construction of the Ismaili Center began. Took years of planning, detail, last to the last dot. How big the park would be, how big the fountains would be, how big the public area would be, how big the Jamaat Khana would be. Detail. And we cannot even count how many times Prince Amin Muhammad, may our gratefulness and thankfulness to him, must have come and put hours upon hours, days upon days, building that Jamaat Khana, that Ismaili Center. So I believe this should do it for today. Let me give you a little bit preview, because from here on, the Farmans will get personal, inshallah, guidance, physical, spiritual, and intellectual. That's why I've divided this lecture in two parts. So if you are interested in the spiritual part and the other guidance, that would be tomorrow. Today was a purely how do we understand what Imam wants and what is Imam guiding us toward, and how Imam works for the Jamaat and the community around us. So let me stop here. Ji.